that Judah never went into captivity until slavery?
I am saying that Judah, you're correct. Now, you've seen many captivities, but you didn't see the house of Judah going into captivity until 70 AD.
Okay,
Right.
That's why I was trying to like see, because I know I saw, throughout the scriptures many captivities, so I'm like, okay.
Many captivity, you've seen many skirmishes, I'll put it that way. Skirmishes, right? You see many of those, primarily affecting the northern kingdom, but you see some affecting Judah, but you don't see the whole house of Yahuwah going into captivity until Yeshua told you, because you didn't recognize the day of my coming, the day of my visitation. All of y'all born into captivity, the entire nation. So 70 AD, the Romans came in, killed about 5 million Brews, and the rest, according to Yeshua, scattered. And that's how you ended up in Africa and scattered around among the rest of the nation. That's how I got a brother from the royal Saudi Arabian Navy that looks exactly like me and my family. Like, how in the world? Like, what? How do you look? Well, you know what? While I'm talking, I'm gonna pull the picture up because I got a picture, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about.
No, that makes sense, because if we do look through scripture, there isn't a time that we can remember that as a whole, like that Judah like actually went somewhere and then became like slaves. Like, I'm looking, unless I'm wrong, like I'm like,
You're not wrong.
is there a time where
There is
I'm
no
thinking about
time.
Esther, the situation with them, that wasn't like a slavery thing.
There is no time in the scripture where you see the whole house of Israel going into captivity. Now let me tell you, until our ancestors crucified Yeshua. And remember, it was at that time when Pontius Pilate says the blood is on your hand. It says,
let it be upon our children.
don't let it not only be upon me, but let it be upon our children and our children's children. So them slave ships, got crunk up at that time. let's get them slave ships crunk.
It was like, oh yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Like, you want that?
And that's exactly what happened. Go ahead.
And that's a covenant because blood spills behind those words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he was crying the whole time. Yeshua was crying about it the whole time. That's why he was crying in the garden.
Right.
Because he understood what this meant. This means something. You guys going in captivity, and not only are you going into a captivity, you're going into a captivity where you're going to be under the bondage. You're going to be under bondage of the worst of the heathen.
Yeah.
Scripture says that there is no heathen worse than the people you're going to be enslaved to. And we had no idea. We had no idea. But that's supposed to be going on in the last days. Now, what else is supposed to be going on in the last days? Remember covenants? At the one point, the Ruach being poured out. But look at what Paul says is supposed to be going on in the last days at the time. Go to 2 Timothy chapter 3. 2 Timothy chapter 3. Because we have got to we've got to step back from the book to get an idea of what is going on so we can get a panoramic, big picture view of what's going on. 2 Timothy chapter 3. Hold on, let me get there. Y'all interested yet?
Oh, yeah.
I say that because I can feel it.
Right.
I can feel you pulling at me a little bit. 2 Timothy chapter 3, King, come on, because that's my
Alright, we're going to start at 1.
Read it at verse 1.
Alright, 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come.
And what, King?
This know also, that in the last days
last days
times shall come.
Wait a minute, so wait a minute. So you clearly see two things going on at the same time, right? In the last days, you got the Ruach being poured out, but you also got this dangerous, because perilous means dangerous, but it's not dangerous, it's a different type of danger.
Right.
Meaning it's a danger, it's a destruction danger. It's a destructing danger. He says perilous. This season right here, Yeshua told us, he said in Matthew chapter 24, that if these days are not shortened, even the elect will be destroyed. That's where we're entering into now. Because what's supposed to end up happening is while the Ruach is coming upon you, the demonic is coming in at the same time to validate whether or not you're sincere and whether or not you are true. Ooh, while you are walking in the Talits, you got all the Hebrew guards on. The demonic is coming in at the same time to test whether or not you truly in the faith. That's why Paul says, examine yourself to prove that you're in the faith. It looks like this in the scripture. Yah says, I am going to separate the goats from the sheep. What's the difference between a goat and a sheep? Because you got to know something about a goat and a sheep. You can eat both of them. Right. Both of them are clean. Clean means both of them are set aside, are holy. Both of them are clean. So you can't recognize a goat from a sheep. Not you. Not in the spirit. That's why y'all says, you can't do this. No different than wheat from the chaff. Right. They were starting to go in and try to separate the wheat from the chaff, and the Lord said, look, wait a minute. They can only be separated by the time we get to the end. Why? Because they're going to grow up together, and the wheat is going to look like the chaff, and the chaff is going to look like the wheat. They're going to be mixed together in the same pen. So the demonic comes upon the scene in the end to separate you from the Most High, or for the Most High. Oh, we're going to make it plain. We'll make it plain so you can see it. So, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. What did you just say?
Yeah. The enemy, Christ was talking about, hey, you have no idea the enemy desires to sift you as wheat.
There you go. You know what I mean? That's the picture of why Yeshua told Peter, get behind me, Hasatan. Right? Because Peter, the mighty apostle, was being influenced. The mighty apostle had Hasatan influencing his life to speak crazy to the Most High. Wait a minute, how in the world can this dude in Acts chapter 2 that's talking about the Ruach be influenced by Hasatan?